Imagine an entire colony of men, women, and children, vanishing without a trace. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just an empty settlement and a single word carved into a tree: Croatoan. What happened to them? This is one of America's oldest and greatest mysteries, the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke. In 1587, more than 100 English settlers, led by John White, sailed across the Atlantic to establish a permanent English colony in the New World. They landed on Roanoke Island, located off the coast of present-day North Carolina. Their dream was to build a new life far away from England and create the foundation of what could have been one of the first English settlements in America. But life was not easy. The settlers faced shortages of food, difficulties with farming, and tense relations with local Native American tribes. Within months, survival became their biggest challenge. Later that same year, John White, the governor of the colony, returned to England to gather supplies. He left behind his family, including his granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the very first English child born in America. Due to the ongoing war between England and Spain, White was delayed. By the time he finally returned in 1590, 3 years later, the colony was gone, completely gone. When John White arrived, he found the settlement deserted. The houses were dismantled, not destroyed, as if the colonists had left willingly. There were no signs of battle or bloodshed. The only clue, a single word carved into a wooden post: Croatoan. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, as well as the name of a native tribe. But when White searched, he found no trace of the colonists there either. It was as if they had disappeared into thin air. For over 400 years, historians and archaeologists have debated what happened to the lost colony. Here are some of the leading theories. Joined native tribes. Some believe the settlers integrated with local tribes, blending into native communities for survival. Certain oral histories and even later discoveries of European features among some tribes suggest this might be true. Killed by hostile tribes. Another theory is that conflict with native groups may have led to their deaths. However, no mass graves or battle remains have ever been found. Starvation or disease. Harsh conditions, lack of food, and exposure to new diseases could have wiped out the colony, leaving no survivors to tell the story. Spanish attack. At the time, Spain controlled much of the Americas. Some historians argue that Spanish forces may have destroyed the colony to stop England's expansion. Yet again, no evidence supports this fully. The Croatoan mystery. The most intriguing theory revolves around the word itself, Croatoan. Some believe it was a message, indicating the settlers had moved to Croatoan Island, now called Hatteras Island. Excavations there have revealed artifacts linked to Europeans, but nothing conclusive. Even today, researchers continue to search for answers. Archaeological digs have uncovered tools, pottery, and even European-style objects on nearby islands. But no final proof has solved the mystery. The lost colony remains one of history's greatest puzzles, an unsolved chapter of America's beginnings. So what really happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Were they absorbed into native tribes, wiped out by hunger or war? Or did something even stranger occur? Something we may never truly understand? Over 400 years later, the mystery lives on. And perhaps that's what makes it unforgettable.